Wake up! It's time to train in Sparta. And today, I'm going to take away the most common excuses I hear from people for not getting started on building the life-saving, fat-burning muscle they know they need. So whether you're younger and you just want to look better, or you're older and you want to stay strong, functional, and independent, this is the video you need. So what are the excuses? I don't have any equipment to use. I don't have time to go to the gym. I don't know what to do when I am at the gym. I'm going to show you a gym in a bag that costs about $50 and eliminates all excuses for not getting started. If you've been putting off starting your workouts, if you keep missing workouts because you can't get to the gym, or you just don't go because you feel out of shape, this might be the most important video I make for you. Nothing I show you matters. Nothing you watch anywhere matters until you start doing it. I've seen this pattern for decades. People get motivated, but find excuses not to start, or start and miss too many workouts. Even if they join a gym, they often walk in and immediately feel like they don't belong. Too many machines, too many people, too much confusion. So they leave. Not because they're lazy, but because they overthink what it takes to build muscle. You do not need a gym or thousands of dollars of equipment to start building real muscle. What you need is a simple, safe way to begin with the compound lifts that I teach. And these lifts work great using exercise bands at home. Now, before we start, I want to be very clear about something. I've power lifted competitively, I've spent years lifting heavy iron, and I still love weights. But I also love exercise bands. I use them often, even when I have full access to a gym. Because exercise bands work great. They create constant tension, they're joint friendly, and they challenge your muscles through the entire movement. Your muscle grows because muscles don't care where the resistance came from. So don't think of bands as a lesser way to train. They are not inferior to weights. Strength is not about the tool, it's about the resistance, and bands provide plenty of resistance. I prioritize building muscle because muscle is the oven you need to burn fat. If you want to get lean and stay muscular, we have to build your muscle first. That's the engine that drives everything. So whether you're younger and you just want to look better, or you're older and you want to stay strong, functional, and independent, this is the video you need, because this is the one we do together. I'll put the exact bands I use in the description below. I'm 63 years old and I still train hard. I still build muscle, and if I can do this, so can you. This is a follow-along workout. If you haven't watched my earlier compound lifting videos, those may help you understand why we do these lifts. We are going to do this together, step by step. I'll guide you through your 2-minute set. You just follow. You don't have to memorize anything. If you're advanced, you may want to add a second set of 1-minute cadence, 4 reps, and increase the weight. If you're just starting, you can do a 90-second set and stop early while I do my last 2 reps. So today, just focus on one thing, starting. Not perfectly, not with a bunch of equipment, just focus on starting. All you need is a $50 set of bands, a little space, and a willingness to get stronger and build some extra muscle. This is where it begins. Right here, right now. Don't overthink it, just roll with it. So get those bands and let's roll through this workout. Now let's take a look at the bands. The bands that I purchase are called the niteen set. They're on Amazon. They're the Amazon Choice set, so that's why I bought them. And there are 6 bands. You get a 20, a 30, a 40, a 60, a 70, and a 90-pound resistance. And you can also combine them, so that's more than enough resistance. Come with a user's guide. Throw that away. You don't need it. You got me. And they come with 4 handles. So you get these 4 handles. And then you get the most important piece, which is this stopper. This stopper goes up on the top of the door frame behind the door, and you close the door. You loop the bands through it, and that's how you secure the bands for resistance. And you can also put it down at the bottom. You can secure the bands at the bottom as well for exercises where you're pushing up. And as always in the Spartan-Persian protocol, we're going to stick to our primary lifts. We're going to stick to the bench press, the row, the military press or seated press, the lat pull down, and we're going to do wall squats. And as I said, all you have to have is a little bit of space, the band set, and a door. And this stopper, so basically all you're gonna do is take the stopper, open the door, put it behind the door, put it about in the center, and then you just close it. Once you close it, now you have a secure loop to attach the bands to. And so you can take these bands, slide them through, and once you slide the bands through, you can put handles on either side of them. So each of them have loops. All of your handles have little calipers. And if you're judging me from my readers, don't. One of these days, when you're in your 60s, you'll get here. If you're already here, you understand, you already know. So yes, I'm wearing readers and you shouldn't judge. Now the two bands are set up and you can see that these are gonna allow me to do lat pull downs. So I have a stopper set at the bottom and we'll use those for pushes. Let's do bench press. So we've got our band and we've got a handle on one side of it. The handle's not on the other side yet. The reason for that is we're gonna slide the band through the loop of the door stopper. Then you're gonna put the other band onto the other end. So that's gonna get you into a bench press position. And the farther you move away from the door, the harder that bench press is gonna be. And the closer you are to the door, the easier that bench press is gonna be, obviously, because the bands are gonna stretch. And we're gonna do a 2-minute time under tension set. I'm gonna start the timer so you can see it. If you have your bands and you're following along, get your bands into position and then turn the video on when you're ready to start. We're gonna get into position. And when the timer hits 2 minutes, I'm gonna be pressing. I'm gonna do 15-second reps. And the 15-second reps are gonna be 7 seconds of push, 8 seconds of eccentric release, hopefully. So I'm pressing. And you're gonna have to figure out your weights on these things. And if you're feeling like the weight's not enough, you simply can move away from the door stop and that'll increase the tension. And when the weight begins to be too much, you can move back. And I feel this in my chest, I feel this in my triceps, and I feel this in my shoulders. This is a unique kind of feel. I really like it. You can focus on the muscles that you're training in a way that's a little different than using cables and obviously different than using iron. And rep number 3. Okay. And press. And I'm fatiguing fast. So I'm going to move back a little bit. I may have selected a little bit too much weight on the band and maybe too much tension early, but that's okay. You can adjust. And bring it back in slow. 3, 2, 1, and 2 to go. And press. And my triceps are torched. My chest is really tired and I'm having trouble holding my form. I should have went with a little bit lighter band. But I really wanted to show you the amount of stress you can place on your body with these bands. Oh, that wasn't a great rep, but it was pretty good. Okay, so that's the bench press. Really feel it in my triceps, my chest, and my shoulders. So after bench press, we're gonna do our rows. And we always try to organize our workouts as efficiently as possible. So push, pull, perfect together. Push, when we're pressing, we're getting bench press for the chest, for the shoulders, and we're working the triceps. Now we're gonna do rows, we're pulling, we're getting lats, lower back, we're getting biceps, and we're getting shoulders again. So we'll do this set. It's the exact same cadence. It's a 2-minute set. Let me get the timer started, get into position here, and show you how to do this set. And if you have your bands and you're doing it, you can go right along with me. And so we'll get the timer at 2 minutes, get the tension here as good as we can. When the timer hits 2, I'm going to start pulling. I'm going to pull for 7 and then eccentric release for 8 seconds. That's 8 reps. And here we go. So I'm pulling back, and you can really squeeze your back with these bands. I like how they feel. And then I'm going back into my eccentric release. There's a 15-second rep. Rep number 2. And you can adjust these bands to be as heavy as you want. You can get as much work out of these as you want to get. And number 3. And you really want to try and squeeze your elbows back. And as you get comfortable with the cadence, you'll be able to increase the weight. Don't be concerned about blasting yourself with a ton of heavy weight at first, especially not in the 2-minute set. In the second set that lasts 1 minute, it's fine to do that, to go a little bit heavier, to make yourself really struggle. So we're really tapping into Hahnemann's size principle, and we're trying to recruit more and more motor neurons and type 2X fast twitch fibers as the duration of the set increases. And we got 2 to go. And I feel this. My back is screaming. I feel it in my biceps. I feel it in my rear deltoids. And pull. And down at the 15-second mark. And 1 to go. And I really want to pull this set hard. Oh. And release. Okay. So we've done bench press, we've done rows, and we've done them in a small little corner of our house with a $50 set of bands. This is an extremely effective way to train, and it's a great way for you not to miss workouts. Now we're going to do shoulder press. So we're going to do our vertical plane pressing movement. So we got the timer set. Going to get it started here. I'm going to get myself into position. Got my back against the wall here. And we are training our entire body in our house with $50 or less in equipment. And coming back down. And number 2. And your vertical press, very much likely, is going to be less resistance than your horizontal or bench press. Most people cannot shoulder press nearly as much as they can bench press. So you just want to adjust the bands for that. But I'll tell you something, these bands are really getting my shoulders. I like them a lot because I can work hard with them. And even though I've got some pretty major powerlifting damage to my rotator cuffs, I can safely work hard and get a lot of work with these bands. So much so that I'm starting to wish I had gone with a lighter one. I went a little heavy today because I want you to see that you can pretty much get as much resistance as you want, especially doing time under tension, and especially if you're disciplined in your eccentric lowering phase. So you don't want to overdo the weight. I've got 1 to do. Oh my goodness. That's a good rep. And I'm going to lower this one slow. Okay. So that is a very good shoulder set. And I mean, I feel like I really worked my shoulders, I feel like I worked the top of my trapezius. I feel like I really got my tricep with that. Time for lat pull downs. And I'm using the upper doorstop, and I've put a couple of bands through. And I want to show you a kind of neat trick with the bands when you're doing lat pull downs. If you have 9-foot ceilings or 10-foot ceilings and your doors are taller than 7 feet, this isn't going to be an issue for you. But if you have standard 8-foot ceilings like I do, then this may not be quite high enough. And so instead of hooking the band down at the bottom of the strap here, you can hook the band, the strap, onto the band higher up. You can see how I did that. What that does is that raises the band about 3 inches on each side. And that's going to be the difference. That's going to allow you to go into the full stretch at the top of the movement and then come back down, okay? So just a neat little trick here. And if you have taller ceilings than I do, you're not going to need to do that. So once you've got them both set up and you've got the resistance set, always we start with our timer at 2 minutes. And when the timer hits 2 minutes, I'm starting. And you can see that little trick that I did at the top has the bands a little bit higher up so that when I start my pull, I can work through the full motion. But everything else is the same. I'm going with a 7-second pull and an 8-second eccentric return. And again, with these bands, you can get a lot of resistance from these bands. And I'm doing 2 minutes, 15-second repetitions, 7 seconds on the pull, 8 seconds on the eccentric motion back up. And you should be seeing that I'm working. These bands are no joke. I'm a pretty strong guy for 63 anyway, and I can usually do a stack on any lat pull down machine, not for my time under tension, but just to do. And these bands challenge me. I work hard when I work out with my bands. So I don't want you to think of these bands as inferior in any way. They're different. It's a little different kind of a pull, but your body doesn't care what kind of tension that you're using. You will build muscle if you just use bands, and that's all you have access to. Okay. And right now, my lats are screaming, my biceps are tired, and I've got 2 to go. And I'm really gonna pull these down and squeeze, and you can see these bands have my body shaking. Sometimes I honestly feel like the bands work me a little bit harder than the machines, especially at the bottom of the motion. And the last one, and I just want to hold that. Ah, that's good. And I'm gonna come back up. Okay, so that is the last of the upper body movements. So we did bench press and we did rows. So we did our upper body movement in the horizontal plane. So we worked out our pecs, we worked out our deltoids, we worked out our lats and biceps and triceps, of course. And we've just done our shoulder press and we've done our lat pull downs. So again, we've worked our lats, a little bit more on widening on the lat pull downs, thicker on the rows, and we've worked our biceps again on the lat pull downs and our triceps on the shoulder press. This is a complete upper body workout. Now we're gonna do legs. We never skip legs in Sparta. So we're gonna do wall squats and we're gonna use the bands for resistance. This is a fantastic exercise. If you can't do it with resistance at first, just do the wall squats. If you're very advanced, then you're gonna wanna move your feet closer together. As you do that and you move your feet closer to the door, you can really put stress on your quadriceps. So let's start the timer. And when it hits 2, I'm eccentrically dropping into a wall squat, and now I'm pressing. It's very much like a leg press. Don't mind all the noise. My shorts sliding along the door. Oh my goodness, yeah. I feel that in my quadriceps, to a lesser extent in my posterior chain, in my hamstrings, but still, good leg work. I love to train legs, and this is a unique way to get a kind of different leg training done. Feels very similar to leg pressing. Okay, got off my cadence a little bit. I'm gonna drop a little deeper in to this. Get down there deep. And if you've watched any longevity videos, there's some very big influencers who are saying, hey, you need to add wall squat holds to your longevity protocol. And I couldn't agree with them more. And there's a great way to do that at the end of this that I'll show you. We've got 2 to go. My thighs are getting fatigued. Feels a little different than a traditional leg press, almost like a hybrid. And the bands are providing continuous resistance, especially at the top. And I'm ready to be done. Okay. And up. And if you want to add a little something extra to this, you can get into a wall hold position and just hold at the end of that set. And man, you are going to feel lactic acid burning. My legs are starting to shake. And yeah, I don't have a ton of this in me. Okay. Wow. So that's legs. And I mean, I really feel that in my quadriceps, to a lesser extent in my posterior chain, my butt, and my hamstrings. And that's a complete workout. So today I'm just demonstrating the 2-minute time under tension lift. All that you have to do the 1 minute is just set your timer for 1 minute. You're going to add a little bit of extra resistance to the bands because you're only doing 4 reps in that set. So the way that the workout would go: bench press, rows, military press, lat pull downs, leg press, 2-minute time under tension. Then if you were doing them all on the same day, you would go back around, 1 minute time under tension, bench press, rows again, shoulder press, lat pull downs, and squat. Now, if you're an advanced lifter and you're doing other things, you're doing high intensity interval training, or you're deadlifting, you're working that into your workout split, then in my opinion, it's okay to get your upper body done on 1 day. If you're new and you're not doing deadlifts, then a really good way for you to start off would be to do either your upper body together, so bench press, rows, military press, pulls, depending on how far along you are, then separate out your leg day and do your wall squats on your leg day. If you're just starting, you're just brand new, my advice would be, let's say you're going to go Monday through Friday, to think about it and keep it straight in your mind. Monday would be bench press, rows, and that's 2-minute set, and then a 1-minute set, and that's it. Wednesday, you do your wall squats. You're getting plenty of rest between your push-pulls on your horizontal plane, and you're doing your wall squats. Friday, we're back to upper body, shoulder press, lat pull downs. And that's going to give you a fantastic workout if you're just starting. And like I said, if you're more advanced than that and you want to put all of your upper body workout together, do that. Do your legs and your deadlifts on a separate day, and then do your HIIT on a third day. The way that I train, the exact way that I train is, and if you were thinking about this on a Monday through Friday work week, Monday is upper body day for me. So it's all of my upper body, my 4 compound movements: bench press, rows, military press, lat pull downs. Then Wednesday, I do legs. And then Friday, I do my high intensity interval training, my VO2 max. And I'll make a video and I'll show you those. But I get my 3 workout days structured that way. I'm hesitant for you to add VO2 max and HIIT to your training until after you've built a solid base of muscle. So that's why I'm not including that, and I haven't gone over that yet. And a lot of people are out there and like, Dave, why are you, this is so boring. All you're talking about are these 4 exercises. And it's true, it is boring, but it works. There's no magic. You know, I go online and I see people and they'll post things, 5 magic ways to blast your biceps, 5 magic ways to increase your tricep size. Compound movements are where it's at. If you bench press, if you row, if you military press and you do lat pull downs, you're gonna get your triceps and your biceps. Nobody who does those has small triceps and biceps. And you're also gonna get an entire upper body movement. So don't get caught up in all that stuff. All that stuff is noise. Stick to what you're doing, slowly improve and slowly get better at your cadence and increase the resistance, and you're gonna see results. You're gonna start to grow muscle, you're gonna start to lose fat, you're gonna start to feel more sure-footed, and especially as you're getting older, your balance will improve, and you wanna ease into these. You don't wanna go too fast. Muscle loss doesn't start at 70, it starts in your 30s. If you wanna build real muscle, subscribe, because everyone will tell you to build muscle, but not many will show you how.